Hey guys, this is Jennifer with Gen X Talks, and this is my friend Cindy Quintero.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes, you said it perfect.
I met Cindy, I guess, on social media after posted about a couple of the school events and basically just like meeting other parents and talking to other parents about our kids in schools and whatnot. She has 5 kids between the ages of 2 and 17. So, like, and we have, 6 between the ages of 2 and 26. So, or not 2, 12.
No.
12 and 26. Oh, no, the 2-year-old's yours. All you, girl.
On you.
But we were talking, I guess this weekend, or she had posted something on social media about the missing girls. There's 2, I guess, local girls that are, missing, and there is some controversy about whether they're, runaways or they're missing or whatever. But regardless, they have not been returned home.
No, they have not.
Last we heard, and that she had some things that she wanted to talk about, or I said, hey, you can come over and blog about them if you want. So I'm going to pass it over to Cindy.
Okay, so it is important to me because it's personal experience. I had a daughter run away. Luckily, we were able to bring her back home, and she was only gone overnight, but it was the longest night of my life.
What age?
She was 13 at the time.
That's
so
young.
Yeah. And ever since then, I've always kind of made it a mission of mine that, it changed my perspective of runaways, because I'm going to be honest. I used to see runaways as, it's just another kid throwing a tantrum, blah, blah, blah. In my case, that's what it was. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
But it seems to be a trend now that in these 2 cases, that these 2 girls that are missing, it's not that. It has to do with them being lured out and technology and, where we become too trusting to what's going on in their lives, that they're okay. And so I wanted to talk about these 2 girls because one of them actually is a local girl. She goes to Legacy High School.
Right.
In our district. I believe she's 14. Okay. And so she's a local girl. She disappeared. No, we'll be honest. They both disappeared from the I-20 corridor and 35. Okay. They both disappeared from that same area. But they disappeared the same night and under the same circumstances. They disappeared about 10 minutes away from each other. So to me, that's just too much of a coincidence.
That's very coincidental.
To me, that's not really...
Yeah, not really coincidence. It feels like maybe not, right?
Yeah, no. It just, to me, I don't think these girls were just runaways.
Right.
That it's just too much that's so similar, because they're also the same build. Completely the same build.
I did see that. Which is odd. Almost like they had a prototype, right?
Yes.
Which is probably part of the concern.
Yes. And I don't want to label it as sex trafficking or human trafficking or even a serial kidnapper.
Right.
But we just don't know. And regardless, these 2 girls are missing, and we don't know what's wrong, where they are. We don't know if they're in danger. We don't know if they're safe. We don't know if they're homeless. We don't know if they've been drugged up.
Right.
And I'm telling you from experience, these things are all going through the family's minds.
Well, like I was telling Cindy earlier, we had one of our 6 kids, I guess about 4 years ago, had created a relationship with somebody on Kick Messenger that we didn't know anything about, because, kids are, and she'll talk to you more about some of the ways to monitor, but she would use the app, download the app, use the app, delete the app. And at that time, we did not have any software on our phones or have our iPhone set up to approve apps, so we had no idea that this was going on. And then one day she got in trouble with the phone, and so we took the phone from her, and then that's when we found the messages. And they went back. They had pretty much done everything except for set a time to meet. And the boy that she was messaging with pretended to be a teenager, and he had a picture of a teenager as his profile picture. But we could tell by reading his comments he had to be a 30 or 40 or older year-old man, because there's no way that a teenage boy could correlate what he was doing with her. But she honestly, in her naive, not great self, thought she was talking to a teenage boy that was really interested in her and just wanted to meet her.
And that's the thing. This is an age where these girls are starting to identify who they are, what they look like, what their bodies look like, what they want to see, and what they want everybody to see them as.
Yeah.
And sometimes just that first pervert
To get, yeah.
that just gets them just where they need that certain attention is going to hook them. And so that's what we need to be careful about with our daughters, that, you know, we it's not that we're not giving them attention.
Yeah, right.
It's just, come on.
Well, they like male attention.
We were all that age, you know.
They want boyfriend male attention.
Yes.
Now, does anybody know? I think you said one of them was Snapchat, right? Do they know who the other person was that they were snapping with?
No, because it was a fake profile, from my understanding.
Okay.
So let me tell you about these two girls.
Right.
One of them is Janae, and I think that's how you pronounce her name. Her name is Janae Duran. This is a girl from Legacy. I don't know what grade she's in. I just know that she's 14.
Probably freshmanish. That young. Yeah.
And the other girl is Desiree Sanchez, and she goes to Richland High School. She's in band and color guard.
Okay, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so that's something I want to talk about in a little bit. So anyway, she was, very active in her community and in her school life and such. So Desiree, the aunt went through her phone and did find communication between her and some person that they were supposed to meet. Mm-hmm. And so what they were able to find is the description of the vehicle, but that's pretty much it. So they know it's a silver SUV.
Okay.
And the family is very, very proactive, which to me...
They're adamant she's not a runaway, right?
Yes.
They're like, she did not run away.
And I had a friend, actually Felicia, mention and say, do you really think it was that she really did want to run away? Because Desiree left her phone behind. She left money. She left gift cards. That's something that the aunt pointed out.
Yeah.
So somebody would normally think, okay, well, runaways don't not want to be found. And I've seen many runaway cases. I've helped pass out posters and notifications through social media.
Not taking their phone.
Lots of girls. So it's kind of weird. Some girls do take their phones and some of them don't. Okay? But we're talking about the fact that they did find a conversation of someone trying to tell these girls, or this girl, Desiree, let's meet somewhere. Mm-hmm. And just look for the silver SUV.
Right.
Okay, so we're not, the aunt thinks that, no, she thinks that Desiree stepped out for the night with the intention of coming back home, but now she's being held against her will.
Right. Even if that's just one of the conspiracy theories, it's a very possible one.
Yes.
I mean, we've heard about it before with other girls.
Right. So what I wanted to talk about was something that weighed on me when it happened to me, something that I see that it weighs on parents, because, it's really easy for us to say, well, where were you? Mm-hmm. Why weren't you watching your kid?
Yeah.
We always tell our kids, I know every parent tells their kids, you make a mistake and you learn from it. And every kid is different. I have 5 kids.
Yeah.
And every single one of them is different.
Yes.
I have 4 girls and 1 boy, and every girl is different. And every one of them goes through their own little mistakes. Okay, so what I tell my kids is...
Such different personalities.
Yeah. So what I tell my kids is, you make a mistake and you learn from it. Okay, the first time you do something that you didn't mean to do it, it's called a mistake. After that, it's called a choice. That's the way I tell my kids. Mm-hmm. So, as parents, with each child, we're going to make mistakes.
Oh, for sure.
However, we should be prepared for the next kid to
learn from it.
Learn from it and make sure we don't make the same mistake.
We're at teenager number 5.
Right.
And we went to a school meeting I guess it was a couple of weeks ago. And it was all the teachers, in his little team. And we were going over his college planning schedule. And they were like, he has A's and B's and he's doing so great. He's excelled so much. And I was like, well, at our house, if he has anything under an A or B, we turn off his phone. Because if you are making less than an A or B, you probably failed a test or have a missing assignment. You have something you need to do. And they were like, 2 of them were parents of teenagers. What? You can turn your kid's phone off? What? Yeah. She was like, well, this is teenager number 5, so we're getting a lot smarter as we go along.
Right.
And the teacher joked and said, usually by the time you see number 5 or 6, the parents don't even care anymore. And I said, well, it's not that we don't. I said, we definitely still absolutely care, but we've also learned, I guess, how to pick our battles, and we don't fight over grades anymore. We just turn off the phone.
Right.
That's it.
Right. There's no discussion.
So it's amazing. It's amazing how quickly he gets on top of the grades, so he can have that phone.
Not only that, but let's keep it real. The siblings watch the older ones and think,
"Oh yeah, that's a good way." Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you have to stay, excuse me, on top of them like that. So why it's so important to me is because I have 4 girls. I was telling Jennifer that I went on the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, and I put in a timeline from January 1st till present day. There is a total of about 46 cases of missing girls just between January and present day today.
In just Texas only too, right?
In Texas
just
only.
In our state.
46 cases of missing girls, and it just blew my mind. There are missing boys as well. It's half of that. There's about 23, 24 cases of missing boys.
I expected it to be a lot less. I expected it to be like 50 girls and 5 boys, but there's still there's still a lot of boys missing.
It's just amazing. It blows my mind that you double it for girls.
Yeah.
And so then I started asking myself who, what, when, why, and where. Okay, so we're talking about girls, and like I said, at this age, girls are starting to think, I want people to see me this way. I see myself this way, and I'm okay with it, or I like it, and so this is how people are going to see me. Or I don't like the way I see myself in the mirror, so let's change, because this is how
Let's filter it. Let's filter it. Yes. Let's make it. I mean, I like filters. I want to be filtered.
Right. So we these girls just make themselves vulnerable, and I'm not shaming them at any
Right. But no, they do come across. But they are 13.
It was like. Yes, I remember.
Look at 19 years old though.
I grew up
on social media.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to date. My friends were dating.
Yeah.
And so I had to have my friends see something more than just you can't have a boyfriend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to distract your friends from the fact that you can't have a boyfriend at 13, 14, 15, whatever. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
When is it happening? It's happening 24 hours a day. Our kids have phones. Our kids have Snapchat.
That's where it's happening,
and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
You said one of them was Snapchat, right?
Yes.
Do we know what the other one?
No.
No, nothing. No. Okay.
The other family is keeping a little bit more reserved, and you have to respect the fact that
Yeah.
they have information they can't put out there.
Right. I'm sure there's investigations or whatever.
Because even in those groups on Facebook, these people, to stay on top of not getting caught, they're watching those groups too.
Right.
So they can't be releasing all this information.
Right. No, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's private, it's personal too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sure there are investigations.
Yes.
I mean, it totally makes sense. It doesn't change the fact that we can talk about the importance of, I was going to say monitoring Snapchat, but as a teen mom, we just don't allow Snapchat.
Right.
And I'm not saying to anybody that allows their kids to have Snapchat, oh, you're a bad parent.
No.
Do your own thing, teach their own. But we don't allow Snapchat or Instagram. Just because, first of all, we have boys that don't take pictures of anything, and so they don't need to be browsing other people's pictures either.
Right.
And there's just, they're not any kind of, there's nothing they need it for.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I'm like, if you really need a Snapchat, you come back and talk to me about why, but no, you don't need it.
Yeah, and just like I said.
So it's on our no-go zone.
Right. And just like I said, do you really need 4 to 5 apps to communicate with your friends?
Yeah, you can text them.
It's not necessary.
You can text them.
You have phone calls, you have email. You see your friends at school. How long are they at school for? 6-8 hours?
Yeah, all day.
Do you really need 4 to 5 apps?
I'm sure I've told you before, super techie challenged. Have a lot of blogs just waiting on my husband to help me do the techie part side of them. But I know my husband handled the kids' iDevices that they have as far as shutting off cameras, shutting off Safari. She's told me about other things that just not even an app, which I do have the parental control apps, Life 360 and our Pact. But she knows things like just iPhone settings, just the iPhone itself. Your kids can't download.
Right. So we have a family share, which is not like a family share plan. It's just, I've put it, no, it's not an app.
Oh, okay.
It's through the settings on iPhone.
Oh, okay.
When you have Find My iPhone.
Yes.
Find
Have them.
Find My Friends.
Yes.
Okay. So you send it out like an invitation.
Yes.
Okay, to the devices, and then you approve them, and so then you can keep an eye on.
Okay,
Find
so
My
that's
Friends.
like your location. Okay.
Now the other thing is that through that same system, my kids cannot download an app without my approval on my phone with my thumbprint.
See, I
Because I'm
love
also
that.
not going to give them.
And how do you set that up? You said it's like iPhone settings or something?
Yeah, it's through these settings. It's through the settings.
Awesome.
So it's awesome. I love it.
I love that. I mean,
I guess we can.
I love that. No, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll have to look it up so I can
Yeah.
give you guys specific directions.
you can also post it below once you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Like once it's uploaded, you can just
So
put the link.
Yeah. So, sometimes we don't have, some parents don't have the financial ability to be able to download all these apps. And that's understandable.
Right.
But that's what I love about iPhone.
I love
it's
the
been a
phone
long
has it in
time.
there.
Yeah, I have a lot. It's been a long time since I've had Android, so I don't know these new phones
Yeah, I don't know.
for the Android what they have, but I know for a fact that that's what iPhone has.
Well, now that I know that, we will change the iPhone settings aside from the app that's to still require a thumbprint. That's brilliant, and it's free. It's included with it.
Because
so why not do it?
It's because our kids are so much smarter than us.
Mine are.
With technology, that they can easily find out what our codes are.
Oh, yeah. No, I want the thumbprint.
I mean, it's just
no. I want the thumbprint. I want the thumbprint.
Yeah.
Also, Live 360, we talked about it. You have just the free version too, right?
Yes.
I have the free version. My favorite thing about it at all, I have some friends that pay for the full one, but what I love about Live 360 is the history of the actual route they take with their phone, like when they're not with you. She said she was a good child. I was not. I mean, I was a straight A student.
I still make mistakes.
Yeah,
I wasn't the perfect child, but I was afraid of my mother's wrath.
I was not afraid of my parents at all, because I knew they did not care what I was doing, who I was with. And I was also pregnant in high school, so go figure. But I knew they didn't care. I knew it didn't matter, so I just did whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, with no oversight of any kind. It was crazy. But I know the things that I did not being monitored. So over my dead body, are we going to have that with my kids? Because I learned from what not to do.
Right.
Like when I was 13, my stepsister was 16 and her boyfriend was 18, and they would go drinking at the lake. And my parents were like, "Well, you're babysitting her. Just make sure you take your sister with you." I would never
Yes.
I would never let the 13-year-old that lives with us run off with the 18-year-olds that are drinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what?
My sister is 4 years younger than me, and I could not do anything at all with any of my friends if I didn't take my sister. That is how sheltered my life was. Sleepovers, birthday parties.
I couldn't believe it. I mean,
I was about a year difference, 4-year difference.
Yeah.
So here I am at 12, bringing my 8-year-old little sister with me. So
I was watching a 21-year-old snort cocaine when I was 13. Wow. Because they'd go to parties at the lake. We lived by the lake in Grace County on Lake Texoma. And, the 16-year-old brought wine coolers, but then the 18-year-old brought pot, and his friend was 21 and brought Coke, I was 13 freaking years old. I didn't know. No. And I also knew that if my stepsister was taking me somewhere.
But see, okay, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that was like what, on the weekends?
Well, summer usually. 3 months of summer. That was the big one.
Was it every day?
Probably maybe once a week, but it was during the day.
Right.
During the school day while the parents were at work.
Right. So this is so when people say, well, teenagers have been, doing these kind of things, it's not any different from back when we were younger.
Oh yeah, it's different.
I want to say it's similar because kids are going to try to cross the line. That's probably the only thing that's similar. But the difference is that because of our phones.
Yeah, we can try.
Now we can do it every day. Now these kids see it every day.
Every day.
It's not once a month or it's not once a week. It's every day at any given point in time.
No, it's even during the school week, especially when they know both parents are at work and nobody's going to be there till 6 o'clock. And the high school gets out of school at 3.
I mean, it's like this. I know you can't see because of this, but you're in class and you can just hide it under your desk, and your teacher's not going to know any better if the kids are on the phone and who they're texting or talking to or whatever. It's just, technology is not a bad thing, but we're making it so easily accessible to kids.
Well, just giving them everything at once. And now we did not give everything at once. Sorry, but no. I do have friends that really don't know better, and they're maybe on their first kid that's getting an electronic device,
right.
And they just happen to have an iPhone that they've already paid for, and it's in their closet, right. So they're going to give that iPhone, but they don't really realize. They don't yet know because their kid's 11 or 10, just how powerful. Right. That iPhone is, how powerful the apps are. Right. I think we have multiple teenagers, and yes. We've kind of done this before. Yes. But when if it was maybe I only had one, I don't know. I think
right. You feel a little bit more confident.
Now I'm like, I know. I even tell the youngest one, and he knows. I'm like, I do not trust you, and it has nothing to do with you. I don't trust you because I know what these other 5 have done. So I know what I don't trust you. Right. And there's nothing you can do that'll make me other than, do your best to prove you can be trusted, and that's all you can do.
Exactly.
Because it's not personal. It's I know what the other ones, I know what I did, I know what the other kids have done. And so I don't walk in like, oh, you just have full trust with me. And right. You're just so precious, little baby boy. No.
Right.
Nope.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Yes. the only thing I was finishing is on Life 360. My favorite thing was, growing up, I would tell my parents, not that they cared, they didn't care. But if I had said, hey, I'm going over to Angela's house, they may not know that we also stopped here and here and here before we got to the friend's house. What I love about that Life 360 app is the history of the travel.
Right. And it'll even tell you how fast if you have a kid that's driving.
Top speed.
It'll tell you how fast they're driving. So
if it was going 80, you know that.
Yep.
But I love the route, because if a kid says, I'm going to work, you can look at that route history and see, did they go straight to work? Or did they stop by a girl's house on their way to work? Right. And he has gone straight to work and back, but he also knows we're checking history.
Right.
So there is the kids can be held to a little bit of a higher standard because they know you're checking it.
Right.
So the kids know if you're checking them or not. And just knowing that you are has, I know, helped us.
Yes.
Greatly.
Yes. But let's talk about our Pact, because I think our Pact, and I don't have our Pact. I just found out about it. Unfortunately, iPhone does not allow for our Pact. Now, if you're watching and I know you have an iPhone and you say, no, I do have our Pact. Yes, for a certain amount of time.
Because you already have it.
You kind of got grandfathered into it, but our Pact does not work with iPhone anymore.
Right.
But it does work for Android. So why don't you go ahead and talk about
our Pact app, which, to be honest, we could probably do just the iPhone settings. So I may cancel our Pact.
Well, because I can't turn off my kid's phone.
Oh, that's true.
So
I could probably change this. Well, we have the premium subscription, but that's because it allows us to watch more than one kid, multiple kids and multiple devices, which is good. But the RPACT app, if they go to download something, we get a notification. Right. They can't delete anything off their phone once they've downloaded it. So one of the problems we had with the teenager that agreed to meet the boy on Kick is would download, use it, delete it. You cannot do that anymore once you have the RPACT app, because you can't delete any apps, and you get a parental notification as soon as they go to download one. And for extra measure, I'm going to add the iPhone thumb print setting on top of that too, so that nothing's downloaded until the parent clears it.
Right.
Why not? Just get it out there.
Yeah.
RPACT app, another thing that I love about it, and I'll do a screenshot and post it below the video so y'all can see, but it has just turn off phone completely. We can shut off their Wi-Fi, calling, texting. I'm sure you still do the emergency call or whatever the iPhone allows.
Yes.
But we can actually just shut it down, completely shut it down. And we also have hours. The phone is on and not. And so we have, we don't allow our kids to keep their devices in the room overnight at all.
Right.
So when they, I know some parents do, they're we use it for alarm. Nope, our kids have alarms, the good old fashioned kind, and that's what they can wake up to. Yeah. Because we've had the kid that wants to text at 3 in the morning. We're not doing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So we learn.
We do.
Trial and error. We do. But we learned not to let our kids just aren't allowed. We have a set station where electronics go in the evening, and they have to be up there by 9 o'clock at night. So we have their devices, but even if we don't have them, or let's say it's a weekend, we have timers set through our Pact. We'll say hours of use are 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. When it's outside of that hour, our Pact shuts it down. So they cannot wake up in the middle of the night and behind our back go get the phone and FaceTime the girlfriend. Just, we've been there, we've done that. We have it set up automatically that they can't even do that. So they don't even try because their phone won't work. So that's good.
And why we're talking about this is because, again, no parent is perfect.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
For sure.
Okay, so we've got to learn from mistakes, from our own mistakes and from other people's mistakes. There's nothing wrong with that. Why, I see what happens with these girls that are lured out by whoever's luring them out and taking them, okay? And I know that there are hundreds of parents out there following these cases, okay?
Yeah.
Why would you wait? Don't... how am I trying to say it?
Well,
I'm not trying to sound judgmental. It's just don't wait for it to happen to you.
Know what's out there.
You can't be too confident to think that it would never happen to you. Okay? No. Because let me tell you something. I'm going to be really honest about my family for a second. We go to church. My kids used to be altar servers. We haven't done that in a while. We're involved.
Yeah.
And we're involved in the community. We're involved in school. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I'm able to volunteer as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And it still happened.
Right.
My daughter still ran away.
Still happened.
That's right. We were setting every perfect example.
You did everything you needed to do.
My kids could be confident and, knew right from wrong, but it still happened.
That's right.
So you just never know.
Well, and to be honest, and we had, of 6 kids, of course, we have every child do something.
Yes.
I mean, every single child's got to do something as a teenager. If you don't think they are, you just haven't caught them yet. And I could bank money on that.
Yes. And they're not terrible kids.
But
they're all kids.
But they're all pushing teenagers. That's what teenagers do.
Right.
Dr. Phil says, they're pushing their boundaries, they're testing their limits. They are going to do that. Period. I don't expect you guys to watch this whole video. But no, I mean who I'm going to tag.
Oh, okay.
But I actually found out about our Pact from Jeff Blanche is a Dallas police officer, and he's married to Amber Blanche, who calls herself #MeanMom. They're a police officer and wife that have 4 teenage girls.
That needs to be a movement.
Yeah, #MeanMom. Well, she does hashtag it. So it probably is its own little thing.
Yeah.
But she will do a video like, well, let me tell y'all what I did today. I took my kids' phones until they did their chores. Or I took, And so I actually found out about our Pact and looked our Pact up from another mompreneur blogger who's married to a police officer who sat down and did a video and said, you guys need to get this app. That's how I found out about it. And so I didn't wait. Now, granted, I'd already had a teenager do some stupid stuff, but I did not wait until something major happened to me to put the protocol in. But I don't know that I would have put the protocol in had Jeff and Amber not talked about it.
Right.
So I do think, word of mouth matters, and everybody has a different audience. She was huge in fitness and health, and at the time Beachbody, now she's a Thriver. That was her audience. But, mine is the local school people. I know you have a ton of people.
Yes.
So.
And that's kind of leading us to something else, and I did want to talk about it. It's okay. We met a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Not in person. This is actually the very first time.
Yeah,
Today that I have met
and
her
it was awesome.
face to face. So, but that's the thing. It's okay to get to know other people.
Yeah.
Because it starts off at home, but it does take a village.
It really does.
And when you start talking to people, I think that's the thing. And
I think Felicia was our middle friend.
Yes.
Because she's a Lake Ridge High band mom. My son was a Lake Ridge.
My daughter's in Lake Ridge right now.
And so we had a middle friend.
But it didn't start off at school, though. It started off at the mom group. Mm-hmm. The mom group. Yep. The local mom group. But my point is, it's okay. Look, I have phone numbers for my kids' friends. Yes. And I have phone numbers for their parents. We're not like, hey, we're best friends now. No.
Right.
But in case of emergencies,
Yeah, she's like, if you see my daughter somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah,
you seen the girls. I've seen the movie Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah.
Where that mom's like, I'm a cool mom.
Yeah, no, I'm not the cool mom. I mean, I'm cool and I'm fun, but with my adult friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's
not as a mom.
That's another blood.
Not as a mom.
But I am the mom that I am going to have phone numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be calling them every day.
Right.
I'm not going to be texting, hey, have you seen my daughter? No.
Yeah.
But on big, huge emergencies where I cannot find my child, or
for sure.
something's going on that I know is just not right, or if I've seen your children doing something, I'm going to be like, hey, Jennifer,
I want people to tell me.
Can we talk for a second, you know?
I want people to tell me.
Yeah, same here.
I want to know.
Here. Me too.
And I think a lot of, I know, and it's on topic, but off topic. I won't get into the full thing by any means. But, you know, some people were talking on a local mom group or talk group about crap their kids are doing at school. And so much of the school seems to be like, well, it's up to the parents. So many of the parents are like, yeah, but the school needs to communicate. It is a two-way street. But right here, parents meeting other parents, changing their numbers, talking about it.
Yes.
Talking about, we had a problem going on with a junior high. She's got a kid in a completely different junior high. Had issues going on, and we need to talk about that later. Yeah, we need to do it. It needs its whole new blog. But we would have never. It helped me talk to someone that wasn't at the same school, but did have a similar age
because
group.
Because it happens everywhere.
Right.
It happens everywhere. These kind of circumstances don't discriminate. They don't.
Yeah.
Boys, girls, you know, low class, middle class, high class.
No, yeah, it doesn't matter.
You know,
it's really age. And if your kid's at school and they have friends that age,
that's probably the only thing is just age.
Yeah,
because
that's where that's what happens. The adolescent